There's the push early. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to my first official live stream here with FX.GOLDSMITH. We'll get right into it because it's 3 minutes away from NYSE. As you can see, I have some zones marked. New York Open here, accumulated pre-NY and pushed off the 2655 area immediately to this next zone. So if we can have this 30-minute close above like looks like it's going to in the next 2 minutes, hopefully pull back a little bit, leave a top wick. I'd be looking for entries around 2665. Looking left, however, what do we have? So this would kind of be my first area. Obviously, I'd love to trade zone to zone. So my full TP would be 2673. Can create a little zone here. Hopefully, though, this minor zone here at 2669, 2670 areas, hopefully we're a little bit below that in order to give ourselves a little bit of room to trade up to that. That's why ideally I would like my positions down here, is that I'm not expecting a full break of this right away, on the 1 minute on the lower time frame, 5 minute. You might get some rejections, some accumulation, maybe a double bottom or a double bottom around this area before retesting and fully breaking. So ideally my positions would be down here, but we're gonna have to wait and see how this closes in 50 seconds. Closes above 2, that's fine. We'll take the push. We got lots of volume right now. Since our last support, it's honestly been 125 pips. It's quite an extensive push without having this bearish 30-minute candle. So um, be careful here. Yeah, I need some entries in and around here, or if we can get some 15, some 30-minute rejection areas, this would be my resistance zone to take pullback sells. But this session is currently trending bullish. Even look on the daily, look on the 4 hour as well. So coming up to that daily resistance here at 2673, 2675, and then around there. 4 hour rejection zones as well. So New York had a pretty good push, lots of volume there. So here we are into NYSE. Already created that bottom wick in the first 1 minute. Not going to be taking the break of that. However, it was a good 13 pips the first 1 minute. Even if we can come down to this 26,767 area, create a bit of a bounce, that would give me a lot more room to trade up to this, 70s area. There's 20 pips up east. I can go break even before anticipating the continuation above. So this is going to be a little tricky. This can very well blast right now. But with this minor zone here, I'm probably going to sit on my hands a little bit. So you got your wick fill in the first minute and a half. You got your bottom wick if this pushes up. We can look for sells a little later in the session here, resistance, but I'm not taking any positions quite yet. Really good move. You were here for the 5 a.m. open. Really good push at 5 a.m. Once you get these kind of areas of accumulation prior to the push, that's great. We had a full break and close above. We ranged here. 1, 2, 3 rejections, came down for a fourth pre-NY, and boom, blasted a couple hundred pips. So obviously being new to streaming, new to YouTube, new to kind of showing my style. So this is a journey for 200K FTMO prop firm challenge that I'm doing. I'm currently sitting at, I think, minus $4,000 equity on that. So I got to dig myself out of a little bit of a hole and then hopefully make 20K phase one. And then phase two is going to be 10K as well. So 34K right now that I'm going to have to log in the books in order to pass both challenges here. I'm going to take a look on my phone, see if everything's working on the YouTube live stream here from the viewer's perspective. Let's see. I was not loving it today. So just quickly looking at the charts. Yeah, your 10 pip bottom wick, you've already pushed 30 pips. Coming back down on the 1 minute most likely. So for this to stay above, you're either, looking to respect this potential support or this resistance turn support for that continuation. So gives yourself a little bit of an opportunity if this creates here and holds above 2670 for that extension phase of the push here, or we will see how this plays out. We just got to sit on our hands a little bit. So, YouTube's not working. Okay, okay. Let's try it again here. Because I am new to YouTube as well, and new to streaming and just posting content in general. Social media, I'm not a big social media individual. I do have an FX account. It is called FX.GOLDSMITH. I've posted a handful of posts in the past, but just not super consistent with it. Not something I love. I do love trading, however, I've been doing that for a handful of years, fairly consistently, on and off. Obviously, I'm on a journey to become profitable consistently full time and pass this funded account. So we will see. Okay, we're up. Okay, we're up. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. You can see the chat on the right hand side. You got my screen. Yep, me bottom right, or bottom left. Too bad. See the chat on the right hand side. Wonderful. I am for the most part a price action trader. For me, it's all about price. It's all about numbers. It's all about zones. I do take a peek at the news coming up for the day, just so I can be prepared to either sit on my hands prior to news if there's heavy news releases throughout the session. I don't want to be entering prior to that or just after that release. So I do keep an eye out for fundamentals. That being said, I'm not necessarily putting any, sell stops or buy stops above or below candles and kind of gambling on news like that. Um, I'll let the information be absorbed into the market and try and catch a little bit of a piece to that volume push. A lot of the times too, with gold is a commodity, a safe haven that's going to be heavily affected by news. Um, especially if your news is in regards to a country that has a lot of influence, possesses a lot of gold, currency storage, things like that. So that is why I don't necessarily trade news, or at least I'm very cautious and aware of it. News releases may not affect general forex currency pairs as much as they do gold, but gold definitely reacts pretty well. So what I'm looking for here is this minor zone, this minor resistance to the left is looking like it's reacting from there. So that was a good markup. Again, this would kind of be my area to buy again. As you can see, we've created some support here in the past, especially on the intraday time frames. So if we're closing above here, this becomes our new support. It's, as you can see, kind of dug a little deeper into the 26, 63, 65 area as well. So I would love a continued support buy around there. If we are getting some rejection here, I can take sells from this 2670s area, but right now, just not a lot going on in the terms of setup. There's volume. These 5 minute candles are 26, 25 pips in length, so the volume's definitely there. Here we are coming down to that zone, that 2667 zone, the 1 minute that I'm looking for some potential buys. So the reason I don't just take the first initial reaction is just because the other candles and the other time frames aren't really telling me that story. We are bearish. I love that pullback. This can look like an extended bottom wick on the 30 and now a flip and continuation. But I would have loved to see a 5 minute body candle close here, a new 5 minute show support and continuation there. So right now we just have a lot of volume, a lot of volatility that pulled back, 25 pips and continued to push 25 pips. So here now we're starting to break some of these highs. You can see this extension coming in for 30 pips. So let's be careful here. And this next 5 minutes going to close. I don't mind this to push. Okay, so 5 minute closed. Just setting up my MetaTrader. If we can get this bottom wick and maybe a break of that high, by all means. In this position here, stops are going to be about 20 pips roughly. We need to continue to break these highs right away. So we're 10 minutes past NYSE. We've rebroke the lows, continue to start to break some of these highs. As you can see here, taking some losses on $3,692 below. Using magic keys on screen. Ooh, what lot size did I just enter this at? Because this is not open trade with 7.9 lots. Okay. FTMO as well, the spread is just a little large, so I should have seen 10 pips there. I'm gonna take a guess that, yeah, only 3 pips. Target one, this zone here, so 73s. Just got a little bit of a push, 8 pips up, 20 pips away from target. There's 10. Now I'm probably gonna go break even. About 15. Let's see if we see any minor. Let's get this out of the way. Any minor rejections. right in here. 71.59. It's probably my first area of interest. We're about 5 pips away from that. This is my first trade live, so I also kind of want to, show you guys that I'm going to bag a little bit of profits here. So we're up 16 pips. Thinking about maybe taking partials here. There we go. We did tap that first initial area. Let's see if we can blast through that right away. I'm going to close 75. Little in profit, so we're currently sitting at 25 pips here. I can explain this trade a little bit more in depth once I fully close out. I know that I was just kind of explaining a lot of things in the background here as well. But I can show you how I trade, why I like this trade again once we close out. Pretty much tapped that target. I wouldn't be surprised if we came down and got stuffed out at break even. Um, Lovely first trade. What did we end up bagging here? $1,178 with, what do we have? 2 lots running. So just under 2 lots running here at 20 pips. So let's see if this is just a minor pullback on the 1 minute, creating some structure and going to continue up to that full zone. We do have to break in order to continue. So if we close anywhere within the purple zone, that's still rejecting. So that's the tricky thing with NYSE too. We saw an initial 10, 12 pip pullback, a break of the high for 30 pips. Then we came back, rebroke the low, probably another 10 pips or so, and then flip and drove. So it's a tough thing with NY. I was telling this to my brother the other day. He knows a little bit about trading as well, and he's seen me kind of on a journey. So, just talking about how London section has your NY open, your COMEX, 20 minutes later, your 4-hour candle close for most brokers. I'm using a different provider here, so I have excuse me, a 7 a.m. close. But you got your 4-hour candle close, candle open, and then you have NYSE 30 minutes later, not to mention typically a whole bunch of news. Whereas, London session, you're going to get London Open, that's it. So, um, guys, this is looking like a heavy pullback. Do I want to close a little bit more of a position here? I do. The reason I closed full there too, I don't love that top wick. There's not a lot of a top wick there for me. We did close at our target, at our resistance. Is it going to kind of double top up here? More than likely, we're going to retest the highs. I'm not willing to wait. I didn't have the best entry. I didn't really get that candle break for the flip. I'm more up in the candle body area. I think my price was let's call it 70 right here, right? So a little higher than I would have expected. 5 pips from the break and 15 from the flip. So that was pretty good. 28 pips full position, less spread. So $1,366 there. Now we're only down 23.26. As you can see on this 1 minute, boom, just a pullback, broke the high, coming into this full zone here. Ideally, I would have had my re-entry, or sorry, not my entry, the candle flip or the candle break. Not the best entry. It was a little rushed this morning. But what I do love here is marking up these zones here worked perfectly. I would have liked to see that candle have a bit of a smaller close, just so I could have got my entry here. And this is a lot of anticipation on the 1 minute. Um, you know, lots of times I've seen candles come down a little further, break above, and retest and go. So this just happened to have a lot of volume, a lot of volatility, and rejected nicely off of this broken structure here. So that could have been your kind of blind entry, with just your stops, wherever you like them. I'm more of a 20 pip stop guy. Um, 20 pips to 25 pips is going to give me that kind of 1% of my account. So that's why I choose that. We ended up, like I said here, creating this bottom wick in the first 1 minute. 10 pips, not bad, right? If you're on the ball right there, you take that initial push, 25 pips. It's the problem, right? If you don't secure anything, price comes back here, you're in drawback 25 pips until you get that flip. So I've seen this many times. That's why I don't love entering. Sometimes, price would have just continued here. I would have missed the move, maybe looked for some sells up here. But we waited fully for that test of structure and started breaking above to catch that push. So this looks really nice as well. We fully came into this zone. Look at that. Perfect rejection right there at the zone at 2673.46, aka 74.75. See how this reacts on this zone. More than likely, that's going to be it for me today. I was actually thinking about hitting the hill here, going snowboarding. I do live on the west coast in BC. We have some pretty good snowboarding hills, so I might get after breakfast early here and hit the hill a little bit, do a little one and done trade. I will explain this trade a little bit more for you guys and give you kind of a potential setup for the rest of the morning. So let's just mark up some further zones for you guys in case this does push. So in order to see any sort of continuation, you have these resistances that need to be broken. Resistance, this could be a fake out, potentially. Nice support. Okay, so as you can see, a strong resistance. We've tapped multiple times. When we break above, we use it as a support. So this area here at 75 looks really good. Really good on the 4 hour. And it is our daily resistance as well. So, you're going to need a lot of volume. We don't have any news today, but there seems to be quite a bit of volume in the market anyhow. But this is a daily zone. So in order to break that, we're going to need lots of volume. 1 hour there as well. So I marked up both of those. So these are some potential next targets if we do end up closing above. Yeah, as you can see, tapping right into there. So for today, if we can kind of close above this, even if we end up pushing, making that wick, that's lovely. We've been kind of trading in this heavy range, this 4 hour and daily range for quite some time now, a good week. Look at that consolidation. So we're finally getting this breakout from this zone here, this whole range, this 3,000 pip range, finally getting that extra couple hundred pip breakout. I love that. So hopefully the remainder of this week we can kind of come back, retest some of this structure. Um, a lot of this is impulse moves needing a bit of a correction now, it's looking like. So once we establish that top, maybe come back, look for further buys later on in the week at some of these key points. Right now, We're just seeing if we're going to close above this or use this as a little bit of a rejection. Don't get fooled on the 1 minute. I always trade, not always, sorry. Lately, I've been looking at the 1 minute just to give me a better risk to reward ratio. The 1 minute allows me to kind of pinpoint my entries and exits a little bit easier, especially with gold. Some of these 1 minute candles, are an entire TP. So this 1 minute candle is 20 pips. That's great for a scalper. I'm trying to take my little piece of the pie and run for the day. Um, and the 1 minute allows me to have a little bit more precision in the markets. Had I traded the 30 minute, I either A would have taken this loss because it would have entered in the first 1 minute. So I would have got that 20 some pip push. If I didn't secure anything, it would have rebroke the lows where I would have had my stop. I probably would have got stopped out somewhere in there. Um, so that's why I like looking at the 1 minute for entries. Let's see. I would love, the next 6 minutes for this to almost really push halfway and come back so that you can have a little bit of structure and get your entries here if this does close fully below. Um, you are still kind of on that impulsive push right now. Look at these candles. So 15 minutes, we haven't had a red candle print yet. So we haven't had a resistance be formed. We've solely broken the highs, respected the low of every 15-minute candle so far. Um, after I print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm not loving buying the top here again. I need some form of pullback. NY session moves in waves, right? So it's less rare to see New York open push. NYSE just pull back a little and continue that. I would have loved to see throughout the way here a red bearish candle, some support, and I know that I'm on that second half of the extension. Now we can have large pullbacks, be the whole, 70 pips. We can pull back half of this NYSE, form some support, and then continue. So I would have loved to see a red bearish candle here, maybe a retracement, and then a second leg extension, etc. But like I said, more than likely, I'm going to be done for today. First trade live on YouTube was a success, bit of a quick one. So let's explain that. Let me get some water in me. It's currently 5 minutes to 7 here, my time. Like I said, I live on the West Coast. It's the only unfortunate thing about this time zone is NY opens at 5 a.m. So it's bright and early. Okay, so came to the charts a little late. You got this close above your zone, the London session, late London. So London opens, it pulls back, continues above this 2660, 2655 zone I have marked up. Respected the intra session minor resistance, came back down. We accumulated here at the support. 5 to 530 candle pushed, created a weak kind of doji indecision candle, still bullish, looking like it's creating that support. Next candle, no bottom wick, lots of volume, 100 pips to 2665. Getting some entries around here would have been great. This is that extension part, so we broke above. We're collecting orders, we're accumulating, and now we're on the extension. So as I came to the charts here, close to 630, you have the 6 to 615 candle push above. Then you have 615 to 630. I waited for that. The reason I waited for this and didn't take that flip was because the last couple days, 615 to 630 has actually looked nice, looked something similar to this, but I know that NYSE needs a little liquidity. They want to hop in the market at a better price, especially if we're trending and we've created some new highs here. We're breaking out. Typically, they're going to pull back a fair amount, create some structure, and then continue. So that's why I wasn't super eager on jumping in 15 minutes before that. So here, price reached this minor zone at 26.69. I have our 630. So let's check it out on the 5 minute. What have we done? 5 minute, we have made some accumulation here. We have our top at the minor resistance. We have this candle from 620 to 625, creating that pullback, retesting minor structure here in the 1 minute. Boom, showing the direction again for that second half extension. Okay, great. 625 to 630 in our direction, bullish. This is where it gets tricky. NYSE open creates that pullback, that 10 pip bottom wick flip and drives for another 25 pips. Doesn't close above the minor resistance, but closes bullish. The next 5 minute re-breaks the low for another 8 pips. So now you have a total bottom wick on NYSE of about 20 pips. This is where we were looking at the 1 minute structure that I was saying. You have this push, you have something that needs a little bit that hasn't been retested to grab liquidity and drive. So I waited for this retest of structure that was broken. I would have loved to have some entries here. 20 pips, something like that. That would have been my initial ideal trade. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. I didn't take advantage of that. So we ended up getting in with spreads somewhere above here. My stops would have been below that structure there. Something of that nature. So we had what does this say? About a 1 to 2. I probably took a little bit less than that. I was eager to secure some profits with you guys my first day. But that was the trade. It was waiting for that re-break of the low. I wanted this structure to be retested. Second half of the extension, second half of NYSE push to zone. So great, beautiful trade. I would have ideally liked to hold full position a little bit. But as you can see, we didn't have the best entry. I didn't want to get stopped out by this 20 pip pullback I knew was coming. So once you approach resistance, more than likely, unless you got crazy volume, your first 1 minute candle isn't breaking that, right? We approached it, we pulled back. We gave it another go, we pulled back. Then we broke kind of on our second and third attempt. We're currently trying to hold above. I'm not going to be surprised. Let's see this 1 hour. This 1 hour closed at the top of zone. Need this pullback. It's already flipped. This is my 4 hour candle as well. Is that a full close above? You're honestly gonna have to wait and find out, because it's not like it's the retest. This is the first time it's closing above. So it's, a couple pips above. That's not really defined as a full closure above for me, especially it being the first time that candle's closed in that area. This isn't the retest, right? So it didn't close 300 pips above, and now it's making its retracement to continue further. This is the first time, and in the last couple hours, we have no bearish candles. So that's what I was saying about kind of starting to trade the top here. We have no significant pullback. Wait for a couple bearish candles to be printed. You can even counter trend some scalps as we're pulling back, if the candles are making sense, if price action is making sense. Otherwise, I would wait for a full new low to be printed, and you can kind of retest that high. That route. But yeah, good first trade, you guys. Hopefully tomorrow we can do it all again for you. Get a better act, get a better price, get a better entry. But a win's a win, right? You got to be happy. You got to be able to take your wins and run and move on with the day. There's going to always be a new trade tomorrow. Minus $2,300. As you can see here, took these two really tough losses. I don't know how I am letting position run 40 pips against me when typically my stop should be 20. What I did here, I think, is actually trading from my phone in bed, most likely. was this one for sure, and then I think I got wicked out of a position, re-entered, and then just didn't secure. I think I had 30 pips and ended up letting it go against me. So a little bit of an emotional trade there after taking an unfortunate loss by getting wicked out. So that's the thing, you guys. I'm still on this journey of chasing consistent profitability, right? I'm going to show you here just a normal kid from the West Coast trying to chase the dream just like you guys are. So if I can provide a little bit of value, whether that be from a trading perspective, a life perspective, and kind of help one or two people in their journey of trading or life or whatever that may be, then great. Honestly, this is more so for me than it is for you guys right now. Anyhow, this is something that I think is going to keep me accountable. I've done the journaling, I've done all of that work that people say to typically do in order to keep yourself accountable and keep you on the right path. Those little things, the journaling, it doesn't always help me not overtrade. Um, I'm just stuck entering many a trades that I knew I shouldn't take at the end of a session, so it hasn't necessarily helped me to not overtrade. It is a good tool because, as you're typing in that third overtrade of the day, that third loss that you took because you were emotional, that might kind of flip the switch inside of you. I can appreciate that perspective. And that did work for a little bit. But ultimately, you need that real money on the line. Again, this is a funded account, so I have the ability to leverage that a little bit better. But it still costs, $1,500. So I have some skin in the game again. Um, and yeah, hopefully, in a couple months, we'll be able to pass both of these phases, both of these challenges, and start earning some real money. This will be able to, provide me a lot more content as well. I want to start posting on my Instagram account a little bit more. So having these videos, having these live streams where I'm chatting or taking trades or explaining kind of what I'm seeing in the markets is going to allow me to post a little bit more stuff for you guys. So for an audience that's on my Instagram, they're going to be getting more content, um, and they're going to be able to view how FX Goldsmith looks at the charts as well. What do we have here? I like this retest. You can see some of these minor zones that I'm placing. You can see how they're retested and utilized so well, right? So you got your 1 hour closure above here. You got your bottom wick, retesting the structure and your bounce. To say that this is going to continue, that's all anticipation, right? Where we rematched that high. I would assume we're into that hourly wick fill. Let's see. Oh, we just want to freeze, do we? Interesting. You can't really have that happen when you're trading, though. Slower than we like. Yeah, so to break this, you're gonna have to wait and see. That's why I like entering these positions down here. If you can have this candle print a little bit down here, your stops, and at least you can go break even here. You're at 25 pips to retest the high. Breaking the high, we're not sure. Retesting the high, more than likely, right? You also have this kind of 20 pip area that hasn't been fully retested with structure either. So you can reject, retest some of the structure that it hasn't either. But that's it, you guys. That's it for me. Oh, am I gonna go snowboarding today? What am I gonna do? I got to coach later. I coach CrossFit as well, so I'm coaching a couple classes tonight. The 4:15 and 4 and 5:30 classes, so I have to be back and in shape and ready to go for that. Um, but that's it. I appreciate. I don't even know if we had any viewers today. I highly doubt it. That's kind of the struggle. And that's what I was saying about doing this for me at the start as well, right? I know I'm not going to have any views. I know no one's going to be here watching me until I gain a little bit of traction. I'm starting with a negative 4K balance right now. Um, so meaning I've made some unfortunate trades, or just the first couple trades of this account went against me, right? As I showed you guys. One was emotional, another one I was trading from bed. So not a great start, right? So this journey's gonna be as much as it is for you guys as it is for me. Hopefully this can keep me accountable. Take my one trade, leave, take my two trades, walk out the door, win or lose, show up the next day, ready to do the same thing. As I post more, as I stream more, you guys will get to learn my trading strategy. I have a lot more posts on my Instagram, FX.GOLDSMITH, on IG. I probably have 50 posts just explaining some of the price action trades, some of my patterns, some of my setups, if you will, and how I go about analyzing the market. None of which is anything to do with the 1 minute. So that strategy I still incorporate, but I don't talk about the 1 minute at all in there. This is kind of a newer thing for me. So I'm still kind of critiquing my 1 minute entries as well. But like I said earlier today, just gives me a little bit more of a precise view, a little zoned in scope on the market, allowing for my entries and exits to be a little bit more accurate. So um, I like the better risk to reward. So I'm hoping to be able to post a little bit more on the 1 minute stuff and how my entries are broken down and executed for you. A lot of the IG stuff would be higher time frame, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30, 15 minute time frame type of entries and analytics there for you. So feel free to go check that out. But I'm hoping to, if I can be consistent here again, I got to be waking up 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock for these NY sessions. So hopefully this will keep me a little bit more accountable, and we can progress and execute on this journey together. Sorry. 2,300 bucks away from being at break even stages again. Made 1,300 bucks today. Took this position, closed out early. As you can see, I would have got an extension of, another 25 pips. So price wouldn't have even come to my entry today. It's so rare sometimes to see. Um, but I did want to close out for you guys and myself here. First trade on live stream. So appreciate you guys being a part of it. Again, watch out purchasing right here. We have that nice bottom wick. We need to be breaking these highs immediately and going to 26.67. So if we don't, you are creating this resistance here. What's to say this 5 minute candle is going to close here and the next one. And now that looked like a red 15 minute, the next one wick fills, etc. Right. So just be careful. We don't have that pullback yet. And we're getting it at the top. So this is an area that you want to either stay away from in regards to buys or wait for kind of candles to start printing in your direction again on the 5 minute. If you can start to close above here, you can have your short scalp continuing up. But I would just sit on your hands if you've already executed today and made some money and come back tomorrow. Wonderful. Enjoy the day, everybody. Thanks for watching the stream. Oh, we have Young Ma, Nipsey Hustle.